flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
Hello on this Feedback Friday with Mackie and Judd. Our guy Declan, he's in traffic getting some needles stuck in his arm and some
Cholesterol
annual checkup work, a little cholesterol test, which always goes poorly for me. Very exciting day
He's
when I
pretty
get my
young,
cholesterol
too.
checked.
He's only
you get I
late
think you just
20s?
get it checked precautionarily, don't you? You don't.
I think it's his first one, so
Okay.
I'm just saying, once you start, you can't really stop.
You can't stop getting cholesterol
once
checks.
Once you start a test, like once the doctors are like, you should get this test, then be prepared. Every few years for the rest of your natural life, you will get that test.
Yeah, then pretty soon you'll be on a fiber supplement. Bringing your fiber gummies in your luggage on trips. You know, not that I know anything about that.
Gummies, did you say?
Yeah, they should actually make fiber weed gummies. That would be great. Legal in Minnesota now, by the way. I don't know if you guys can get those in stores or not, but maybe you should dabble. Yeah. That's a subject for another day here. Let's dive into every Friday. We take your questions, comments, concerns, critiques, whatever it may be, via the SKOR North app, where you can always hit us up. The YouTube comment section. We're always active on Twitter, even Instagram and TikTok. So we make the Friday shows all about you. We will do an action movie rewind as well. Face Off, one of the great mid-'90s classics.
So many thoughts.
But let's start with Dale Boylan here via YouTube. He's not happy with us.
Okay.
He says, Phil and Judd, you defend the mediocrity of the Timberwolves franchise while lambasting the Vikings. You say you'll take 50 wins a year for the Timberwolves, but for the Vikings, you say we don't accept 500 football. We want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
You guys constantly rag on Kirk Cousins. There it is. There it is. Constantly rag on Kirk Cousins, saying no excuses now. All I hear from you two guys is defending a ridiculous Timberwolves trade. This show is unwatchable. First of all, thanks for watching an unwatchable show, Dale. Really appreciate it.
Well, the great thing about the show is
viewership.
I actually don't disagree, because the two guys that host the show, not great to look at.
Yeah,
but that's
you
why
try listening instead.
It's very listenable. That's the
Yeah.
great thing, is like, you don't, if you are like those two guys, I hate them. They're ugly, which by the way is fine. Then you can say, but I can listen to them.
That's true. Yeah, I could envision that it's it's like Ryan Gosling and Brad Pitt or something spewing wild takes. So, is this a fair criticism that our expectations for the Timberwolves are not high enough? He also hates the trade, so it's like, I don't know. He's kind of contradicting himself too, but anyhow.
Sure. This has been addressed, and I will address it again. This is, to me, like if you have kids, right? Your expectation of your kids have to be, like, they can't all be the same. There might be a smart kid, there might be a dumb kid, there might be an average kid. The Timberwolves have been inept for so long. I just want to see them reach the relative consistency first that the Vikings did long ago before I actually say, to me it sounds ridiculous to say, we expect the Timberwolves to win a championship. Every other team, I can put more pressure on them, but the Timberwolves have been a dumpster fire. I believe the stat is 2 playoff appearances in 18 years. One time in their existence, in their feeble existence, have they gotten past the first round. Yeah. So I don't see how any sane person can come on this show and say, we expect an LOB at Target Center. I'm sorry, I just can't do that. The Vikings, one, have been around since 61, been to 4 Super Bowls, been to numerous NFC title games. So I think the expectation there is they're a far smarter kid. So, like, if I got a smart kid and the kid underachieves consistently, I'm like, so you could have gotten to Harvard, but you're going to a community college because you're a lazy lout. The Timberwolves are a different story. So I totally get the point. I've thought of that point too, because we have had discussions in the past week plus about what we want from the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
But I just don't see how you jump to championship with the Wolves. Consistency, playoff consistency. It's why I said to you, while the Jazz are frustrated, right? They're blowing it up. Gobert's gone now. If I were to come to you with the Jazz resume and say, Phil Mackey, as a Timberwolves fan, I'm going to give you this success dating back to when the Jazz got competitive and good. I don't think you're going to say, "Oh, look at no, I don't want that." So, like, this is to me, it's a different conversation. It's very nuanced, but I think it's fair that you expect gradual steps here because it's not realistic to just say, "Well, they should win a championship."
I thought your kid analogy for someone who doesn't have kids was spot on. You've got two kids. Okay, one of them scored a 32 on their ACT or a 1450 on their SAT or whatever. Do they even do the SAT? I have no idea.
I think it's ACTs now.
Okay, but they test off the charts. They're an A student, and the only thing left is got to get into a great college or whatever it may be, right? And they're just coming up short, or maybe they're really really smart, but they're just like mailing in the test or something. Whatever it is, the kid is not reaching its potential. The Vikings have been one of the smartest kids in the NFL for 60 years. They're the only kid in their class to not go to an Ivy League school. All the other teams with, like, look at the top 7 or 8 win percentage teams the last 60 years in the NFL. It's the Cowboys, It's the Patriots, it's the Steelers. The Vikings are on that list. There's 4 or 5 other teams. They all have championships. The 49ers, the Vikings stand alone. They are not the Lions. Just a team that can't even put together a 10-win season more than once every 10 years, right? Like, the Vikings are always in the playoff hunt, and they're always, once every 10 years, putting together one of the best teams in the NFL, getting to the NFC Championship game. The only box left to check in franchise history for 60 years is the Super Bowl. And so that's where that comes from when we talk about wanting the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. The fact that we have to over-explain this, I feel like, is amazing, but the Timberwolves, at some point, probably should be held to a championship standard too. But because they've been such an embarrassment for the majority of 30 years, it's okay to have a slightly different expectation right now. There's multiple steps that need to happen. The Vikings have walked those steps back and forth for 60 years. The Wolves have not.
Yes.
And the other thing that stands out here too from Dale's comment is you can always spot a Cousins crusader from miles away.
Yep.
Where they take some issue with something that you said and then bring it back into, just like you constantly rag on Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
So, listen, if you're a Cousins crusader that's main goal is to avoid criticism for the 3rd highest paid player in the NFL according to the salary cap, and you want him to receive no blame whatsoever, you're not going to find it on this show. Sorry.
Well, but I think we're also very fair because our angst comes through failures. So like now, if Gobert gets here and 2 years in sucks, right? We're not going to sit here and be like, well, too bad Gobert sucks, but let's talk about the positives. We're going to talk about what went wrong. When teams change things. I mean, what do I continue, and I think we're in lockstep on this, what do I continue to talk about for the Vikings? I'm massively excited to see how Cousins does with a coach that features Cousins.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not ripping him. Do I think there's pressure? Obviously. He's going to be featured. He's going to be allowed to do things he supposedly wants to do. So I think we're incredibly fair on stuff.
Yeah, I really think it's like there's a group of people that deify Kirk Cousins, that their only goal when they wake up in the morning is to make sure that he receives no blame whatsoever for a decade-long trail of 500 football teams. And I think, Dale, thank you for being a loyal. The show is so unwatchable, Dale, but thank you for watching anyways. I think we've sniffed out your agenda here. Matt Lachinsky via the SKOR North app. After digesting the Gobert trade, I will say I am on board. We got the most bang for our buck without giving up Cat, Ant, or any of our young promising talent. I think that's the trade-off here. It's either a boatload of first-round picks or a star player to get this done, and I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Outside of the recent picks of Cat, Ant, and Zach LaVine over the past 20 years, how many impactful first-round players have the Wolves even drafted? And so he continues on to say, as Bill Guerin says, it's about effing winning. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll even say this, like, if they don't reach their peak in the next 4 years, Western Conference Finals, or if you want to hold them to an NBA championship standard, that's fine too. There's another peak coming, because the second peak, which might be the more impactful peak, is when Anthony Edwards is at his best. And that probably won't happen when he's 21, 22, 24. It probably happens when he's 25, 26, 27. If you go look at all the other star wing players, not that you can't become really, really good when you're 21, 22, but you become the best version of yourself 26, 27 years old. And so you'll probably be beyond the Rudy Gobert contract by the time that happens. This just opens up the relevancy window a little bit wider. I don't think it cuts off your peak, though, because Anthony Edwards is still going to be here.
Well, and while I think this trade definitely will help Ant, I really do believe this trade was made for the benefit, one, of Cat, who, by the way, is a superstar player. So, like, when I look at what Tim Connelly and Chris Finch are trying to do, I really look at two things. One is Cat, and it's going to maximize him, or it certainly should. And you know what? That's a Cousins thing too, man. I mean, it's go time. It's go time, Cat. And the second, D'Lo. Because I think, again, while we all said they're going to trade him, and I think that was a fair assessment. The man was benched in the last playoff game. I think it was fair to think that there was something wrong there. I think they said, if we trade him, we're not going to get a lot, so let's try and maximize him too. To me, the Gobert trade is about so much more than Gobert. And Ant is definitely a guy who I think is going to be helped. But I don't think the internal feeling, Phil, with the Timberwolves is we got to do something to help Ant, because I think Ant is just good. I think the internal feeling was we definitely, after watching the Memphis series, have to do something 1A to help Cat, for sure, and 1B, D'Lo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the D'Lo thing's a whole nother interesting deal here, because I think they probably went into some of the rumors and reports that we heard that they were shopping D'Lo, going back 2 months. I definitely believe that. I had heard that, and I don't have full details, but I had heard that D'Lo wasn't thrilled on the way out of the sort of the playoff exit interviews.
Sure.
Which, he got benched. Yeah. So, Chris Finch can come back and say, dude, you went 3 of 14 every night. What am I supposed to do? Jordan McLaughlin was doing a better job running the offense and maybe even playing some better defense than you did. But it if you're D'Lo, you say, well, okay, so if I sputter for a couple games, you're just going to lose faith in me. So I think some of that had to be patched up. And maybe they backed their way into this scenario, but now they're going to get, if they keep him, and I think they're going to, for 1 year anyways, because his contract's expiring, they're going to get a motivated D'Angelo Russell going into a contract season with 2 excellent pick-and-roll options in Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. So he's going to have so many weapons at his disposal.
Exactly.
And so many ways to also create his own offense. And the pressure comes off him a little bit. It becomes less glaring if he's not playing the greatest perimeter defense because Rudy Gobert's standing back there to swat shots away. So this could actually work amazingly for the Timberwolves, even if it's only 1 more year of D'Lo, just getting the most motivated, best version of him. And for D'Lo, who might get to leverage these assets around him, and the Timberwolves maybe having a 50-plus win season to make a lot of money in free agency next summer, even if it's not with the Timberwolves.
Exactly. Yeah, smart.
Let's see here. Actually, looks like our guy Dex is back with a few needle marks in his arm here. How we do?
What's going on?
Going up here.
That was very ominous.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. I had one more shot to get. The Hep A shot. Apparently, I needed one more.
Yeah,
so
sure.
You still need one more, or you had to get?
I needed one more.
How many needles were stuck in your arm today?
2.
Oh, just 2. Okay.
Just 2. I got blood drawn to see cholesterol test. I've never done a cholesterol test before. I have no base, and both
can you
my
and I
family
swap
has.
results? I'll give you mine over
maybe,
the last 10 years.
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
But yeah, classic experience at the old doctor's office.
Blood
Went
drawn
really well.
still bugs me. Like, it doesn't even hurt much, and it's still weird. I can't look.
Okay, I like to stare at it because I think the anticipation of it is worse than death itself, as Steven Seagal would say.
I disagree. I like to. I know. I'll see it about go in, and then I look away, and I don't want to look.
I grab my arm, close my eyes, and just wait till it's done.
I think I'm finally over this at age 37. But when I was like 12 years old, I had a bunch of stomach problems. Shockingly, I know you guys will be shocked by that. When I was like 12, 13 years old, and I went to the doctor one time, and they were doing some blood drawing to figure out if there was they were sort of trying to touch every possible scenario.
Right.
And this poor nurse, she couldn't find my vein, so she stuck the needle in, but then couldn't find the vein. And so instead of just taking the needle out, like taking a breather and trying again, she started digging around in my arm with the needle.
Oh, no.
And my mom was in the room because I was 12 years old. I wasn't
Right.
just in there alone. And she's digging around, and it was like, I don't know how long it was, but enough for me to start turning pale, and I was getting lightheaded and about to pass out. And my mom jumps in, she's like, "Stop, just stop!" So like she literally made another nurse come in, try the other arm, and try again. So that experience stuck with me for at least 15 or 20 years. Every time I'd have to get blood drawn, terrifying.
That's really bad.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
get that
clown
it's
show,
hard,
dude.
but I mean, come on, man.
That's a clown show, bro, right there. That can't happen.
You know what? It's not a clown show. Spiral light candles. In fact, that could be a great gift for your wife, your girlfriend,
exactly
mother,
right.
whoever it may be.
Exactly right. And they're back. And I want to tell you right now, spiral
So I
light
get choked up
candles.
thinking about spiral light candles.
I'm going to be total full disclosure. Little breakfast sandwich between the time that we recorded
Shocking.
Royce and now.
What, half of it's still stuck in your
And I just
windpipe?
went old man, and I just went old man, and it got stuck. Yeah, I just went old man. In fact, you know what? I'm going to take a sip of a drink here quickly before I talk about our friends at Spiral Light, so I do it justice, because this show is all about fully disclosing my screw-up.
Welcome to the show, Declan.
Yeah, welcome
to the
back.
show.
It's Friday.
It's good to have you back, Dex. All right.
Friday.
Family owned and operated, so shipping is quick, as Phil said. Lots of great scents that make your home smell fantastic. This is a perfect gift, like a birthday gift for mom or your girlfriend or you. You know what, guys? Candle guys, too. But I also want to tell you about an exciting part about Spiralite. And Todd, who runs the shop, and I have been talking about this. For fans of the purple, can't say the team name, but for fans of the purple, we've got, for football season, available soon, Judd's Purple Positivity Candle.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Look
I
at
give
that,
you
dude. That's awesome.
a purple themed, again, I can't say the name, a purple themed candle. And I'm going to read you the description right now, because this is not like this doesn't smell like fruit. It doesn't smell like something, oh, that's a nice smell. This is a football smell. In fact, if you could, Phil, please play the football sounder quickly.
This is turning into a QVC special right now.
The scent. I want to give this proper due. It's Judd's Purple Positivity Candle. Sitting on the porch of a cabin surrounded by pines and wildflowers with the promise of a coming storm. This is all about football right here. How do you get it? SpiralLightCandles.com. SpiralLightCandles.com. Again, a perfect gift. And don't forget, football season, burning this sucker during the big game. SpiralLightCandles.com.
Amazing. All right. Football. All right. Now back from Home Shopping Network, Judd.
It's a football. It's a football candle.
We get it. It's awesome. It looks amazing.
It's really good.
We buying a few myself. David Starner via the SKOR North app says a couple questions to clean up here that a lot of people are asking. So the Wolves and Jazz did a 2026 pick swap. Let's say the Jazz have a lottery pick in 2026, picking third overall, and the Wolves are picking 30th in 2026 because they've made the NBA Finals, right?
Yeah.
Well, they've won the championship if they're picking 30th. Does that mean the Wolves get the 3 and the Jazz get the 30? If I'm understanding language, I would see this as a huge win for the Wolves. It's only a pick swap if it helps the Jazz.
Right.
So you wouldn't, you wouldn't be taking advantage of the Jazz being terrible in 2000. It would only be a pick swap if it helps the Jazz, which I think it's fairly likely that the Wolves are going to be better than the Jazz in 2026. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Gabe Lucas via the SKOR North app. Interesting Wolf stat here. This team isn't just big because it's a tall team. Check the wingspans. D'Lo, 6'10 wingspan. Ant, 6'11 wingspan. Jaden, 7-foot wingspan. Cat, 7'4. Gobert, 7'9 wingspan. The Wolves' shortest starting wingspan is D'Lo at 6'10.
I love this. This is
Yeah.
very in-depth right
Dude,
there.
good luck getting anywhere near
Basketball.
the paint with those arms, praying
Whoa.
mantis arms just
Love it.
all over the place. Inflatable
I was going to say,
Wacky
what's your
arm
new
guy.
fall,
Man.
fall down, bounce
car
back
dealership
up?
guy. David Goldiger via the SKOR North app says, you know what, Phil? I've gotten to really enjoy you, and I do because you're smart, you're knowledgeable, you understand sports, and I truly enjoy that part of you. Yes, please go on, David.
Yeah.
What are the other things that you like about me?
Oh, God.
Handsome, charming, hilarious. But, he says, to keep talking about the 2029 draft pick currently being a 6th grader, well, I guess that's dumbass. That's how people felt about LeBron James when he was in 8th bleeping grade. Stop minimizing draft picks. Wow. What person could possibly turn into who's currently young? I don't understand that last part. So let me get this straight, David. First of all, thank you for the compliments. But we're supposed to fear this trade because there may or may not be a current middle school player that may or may not be drafted by Utah and may or may not turn into LeBron James in 7 years from now.
Can we talk about the tone of that note? Because I feel like to go from praising
Start
you
with the good news.
absolutely up and down. No, but then to transition to dumbass, that's like a really hard turn. Like I would think he would say, I love you,
yeah.
You're fantastic, but I disagree with you on this. And by the way, that's fine, right? But I feel like the pivot,
you're a dumbass.
The pivot is you are a bleepity bleep, you stupid bleep. I'm gonna find you. Like that's a really hard transition.
Yeah.
No one says dumbass too better than Red Foreman. I was on a good TikTok scroll of just that 70s show, like hilarious clips, and I can watch Red Foreman call Eric a dumbass for probably hours and hours on loop. It's great.
The name's Dumas. That was one of my favorite commercials back in the day. So, all right, well, thanks for the critique there, David. I don't know if maybe you can reverse the trade so that you can cross your fingers on that 2029 draft pick. I'll stick with Anthony Edwards and the new Twin Towers. Andrew Starks via email says, I'm just reaching out to let you guys know my daughter was born safely and is doing great. I live on the Iron Range, and if it wasn't for the tickets I won last year from you guys, I wouldn't have met the mother of my child. So you guys directly changed my life for the better, and I'll always be eternally grateful. My daughter's name is Eleanor, and in a way, you and Judd will always be my honorary uncles. That is amazing. You do not want Judd to babysit Eleanor.
Yeah, don't. Or change a diaper or anything like that.
So this, Declan, you told me this was at that Gopher game we went to?
Yeah, the Gopher football suite we were at.
Okay.
Yep.
Look at us, just making
So, like,
matches.
Families.
So, like, did he go out after the game and meet her, or like, do we know details
I believe
about how this happened?
in the other notes he has sent via the app, I believe yes, he met her at the game, or at a bar right afterwards, or I believe, but the game was directly related to them meeting.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Welcome Eleanor into a life of Minnesota sports disappointment. Hopefully she is ready for that. All right, couple last things here. Similar criticisms of the show here. G. Johnson via YouTube says, you didn't mention the Twins once today. This was like one of the days last week. First place team in the middle of a season, and all you do is talk Timberwolves, but it's your show, I guess. And then Josh, is it Solden or Soldine via the SKOR North app? He was one of the original Write That Down guests when we started doing that a few years ago. I would like to start off by saying I've generally loved your content since diving in back in 2016. This is another start with the good news. This is good. You guys are, the audience is good.
But you're a dumbass.
Butter us up a little bit and then call us names.
I really like you, but you're a dumbass.
So I've really generally enjoyed your content since diving in back in 2016, have served as a word-of-mouth marketer for your brand and converted many of my sports-loving friends. Thank you for that. That being said, however, I have become frustrated and borderline sad by what feels like a complete abandonment of Twins and baseball talk. I'm currently listening to a deep dive on Malik Beasley in late June after a pretty fun doubleheader in Cleveland for a first-place Twins team, while a new Timberwolves podcast is about to be released. Now, a lot of things have happened that validate that decision in the last 2 weeks, so the timing of this email was a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
He says, I am a couple years older than you and have long lived in the business world of data and analytics, so I completely understand that you guys have indicators and data to tell you what the audience likes, so I'm not here to say that you are wrong, but simply that your baseball content was at one point awesome, and now it is disappointing. When you do discuss it minimally, the general tone of the frustration and disdain for the current regime is so pervasive that it's hard to listen to while trying to enjoy the current season. Judd and Royce, whom I both love you guys, but they're so eager to pronounce the team dead in June like it's some hot take artist thing and constantly eating their words. It's funny because Pat is usually so measured and non-emotional about these topics. My general message is the most overblown snowball hot take is that baseball is dead. It is not. Ask John Boy and Gleeman and the Geek whether baseball is dead or not. I would prefer to spend my listening summer with you guys talking ball, but instead I will wait and report back when Purple Talk heats up in October. Bring back baseball.
It's a long note.
Sorry, I know that got a little lengthy. It was longer. I cut some of it out. But is that a fair criticism that we don't talk enough Twins and baseball on the show?
Well, I think you should probably speak to that, Phil, because, I mean, he's right. There's data, there's information that points to the fact that talking baseball, while not a death knell for our show, is definitely not as hot as the Wolves. And, I mean, the Gobert trade in and of itself was a massive boon.
Yeah, I mean, the Gobert, if the Twins, when the Twins made a big signing of Carlos Correa, it was great too. But just,
sure,
I think you kind of answered your own question in the email, in that we do have data analytics, and first of all, this is we have fun doing this, but this is our livelihood too. So, like, on one hand, we want to do what's best for the data and the analytics, but we also are just reacting to what you guys, the audience, want to consume. And when we put a bunch of different menu items out, and then the feedback comes in via data analytics and says, overwhelmingly, this thing on the menu, Vikings, that thing on the menu, Kirill Kaprizov discussion, or this other thing on the menu, Timberwolves speculation, are way more popular and get ordered more often than a discussion about the Twins bullpen in the middle of June, then, not to mention, Target Field, lowest attendance, if you take the 2 pandemic years out, lowest attendance in the history of the ballpark, by far, by like several thousand fans per game on average. So it's the Twins haven't won a playoff game in almost 20 years. It's a fun season. We will continue to sprinkle in discussion. If they make a big trade at the trade deadline, I'm sure we'll hammer that. But like, my thought on this is, the numbers show us that Twins talk isn't as popular as maybe it was 5 years ago. And they have to earn fans back. Like, fans aren't going to the stadium in droves like they used to. I don't know what the Bally Sports North ratings are, but this is not a team that's generating as much buzz as it used to, and it's all self-inflicted. So if they can climb back up and they can do something in the playoffs and get people hooked again, then I'm sure more people will be interested, and I'm sure we will respond accordingly. But we also have a small staff here. I mean, you're literally looking at the 3 full-time SKOR North employees on the screen and in your headphones right now. So we have to kind of pick and choose our spots, and
and
what
all
does
three
the
of
best,
us
what doesn't.
love baseball.
100%. Oh my, yes.
Like, if the statistics showed that people loved baseball talk, we would talk baseball constantly.
Yeah, especially in the summer, we would love to sit here and just do like an hour of deep dive Twins breakdowns and talk about the third bullpen spot, Griffin Jacks and stuff, but no one would consume it. So, if you guys have anything to add to that.
No, I give my money to the Twins every month right now for season.
You
tickets.
are one of the you are one of the people that goes.
I am one of the people. So yeah, no, I get it. I love baseball. And my buddy texted me yesterday, one of my best friends who also is a diehard baseball fan. He goes, "Does the World Baseball Classic do anything for you?" And I said, "Absolutely not. It does not." And he said, "Well, I think it's good for the game, like, to go all out the world." And I said, "Well, my concern with baseball isn't a global issue for right now. It's a centralized issue in the United States, and the marketing of Major League Baseball. That's where I'm putting my horses, before I'm putting it before the cart with World Baseball Classic and spreading it around the world. They have to market this game better before I start caring about the Netherlands versus Puerto Rico."
Right. And listen, like, Josh, the emailer, brings up John Boy and Gleeman and the Geek. I won't speak to Gleeman and the Geek, but John Boy is amazing, and the platform they have is incredible. But how many baseball-centric media platforms are out there thriving along with John Boy? I'm sure there's a couple other ones. But and John Boy is largely, like, their 2 biggest podcasts. One is Talkin' Baseball, it's National Baseball Talk, and the other one is Yankees. So they're kind of glumming on it's a Yankees, half of it's a Yankees platform. The most popular team in baseball, biggest market. But once you kind of get outside of that, the popularity does wane. It's not dead. No one's saying it's dead. It's still a multi-billion-dollar industry, but it's just, we'll keep, and we talk baseball multiple times a week. So, maybe we don't hammer it for an hour a day or for 4 hours a day like we used to on our 1500 ESPN radio show. But, we appreciate the feedback, and we always want to hear from you guys, the audience, just what do you want us to talk about? And if 10,000 people send emails saying, "No, we agree with Josh, we'd love for you to talk more Twins," maybe at some point we can expand and bring back the Twin Show or something. Yeah. So anyhow, that's Feedback Friday, presented in part by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. And coming up later in the month of July is the annual Federated Challenge, where Federated brings together different partners and people and companies within their network, and they help raise millions of dollars a year for Big Brothers Big Sisters, $44 million dating back to 2005. And Big Brothers Big Sisters is just a wonderful mentoring organization helping children facing adversity. If you want to find out how you can become a big, or just find out more about how you can help get involved, federatedchallenge.org. Federatedchallenge.org. All right, boys, we got to brush up for Action Movie Rewind here today because we've got Face Off on the docket. Amazing stuff. And over on Purple Daily, you can check out a deep dive yesterday into the Vikings' third down offensive problems, which spawned a lot of great discussions in the YouTube comment section. Mackie and Judd, Feedback Friday. See you guys.